scoreline flattered Leeds, which sometimes can be a struggle for teams. If you don't hammer home that advantage early doors, it can come back to bite you. It didn't for Warrington, and they came home with a wet sail, but the scoreline definitely flattered Leeds. I take heart in that our defence is solid enough to keep us in games, but again, slow start, as it has been pointed out, slow start, poor end, played well for 15 to 20 minutes, looked like world beats for 15 to 20 minutes and fall away. I think there's definitely things to work on in there, but Wire were the best team and they deserve the standing where they are right now.
And individually, the two best players on the pitch for me, Harvey Levett got 3 tries, 155 metres. He was good around that as well. I mean, he had a try assist that's not credited on the stats. Darryl Clark, 6 tackle busts, 140 metres. I thought he was outstanding too. Chris Hill, 124 metres. And Benny Westwood, rolling back the years, 118 metres. He's playing pretty well, and that's said.
He is, but he's very ugly.
On the losing side, Ryan Hall with a try and 116 metres. Stevie Ward, 47 tackles, 12 marker tackles, so he worked hard, so it's not surprising that there was a late missed tackle that he kind of got flagged up for by his coach. Adam Cuthbertson, 119 metres, and Richie Myler still doing the work. 3 try assists for Richie Myler. Is up there in that regard in the season. Okay, we'll move on to a game that I honestly don't have a lot to say about on Friday night, the final Friday night game. It was Wigan 30, Salford 0. It was 18-0 at half time. 10,733 saw Chris Kendall referee this one, although Chris Kendall didn't really have much to do. We had a couple of fan reviews in from Wigan fans on this one. Do you want to cover them?
Yeah, Benjamin79 at Big Ben 1 said, about as exciting as making a coffee, no imagination, no flair, no urgency, but 30-0 and 2 points in the bag.
I think there's some baristas out there who'll take offence to that. I think there's some more exciting,
especially in Australia. Yeah, absolutely.
Than maybe this game. David Lawrenson as well, who's a bloke I've met in person a couple of times recently, and is a good chap. He said, I wanted to provide you with a witty, insightful view of the game, but Salford were lucky to get nil. Escare's talent is being wasted, and a result that was never in doubt. It's all that's wrong with Super League nowadays in those 80 minutes. Pretty damning.
Yeah, well, let's, two Wigan fans who win 30-0 and still absolutely find something to moan about. That's nothing's ever right, is it, at the DW? It's not good enough. We haven't won Challenge Cup for 20 years in a row.
Well, there is a bit of that, but I think David kind of picks on a point that I felt as well at this game. The intensity wasn't there at all throughout this game.
Absolutely.
Apart from Salford on their own goal line were very good. Now, Wigan forced 7 goal line dropouts and were held up over the line about 6 or 7 times as well. So I would credit Salford's goal line defence, but everywhere else on the pitch they lacked in intensity. Going forward, they lacked in cohesion. It was another new combination of halfbacks and fullback that they've not played before. Daryl Alfords is not a fullback. He's a hard-working player who gives you 100%, but he's not a fullback any day of the week. And anyone who sees Oliver Gildart's try will understand that for a start. But yeah, so that's kind of the point from David, and I think what we see is this split Super League, don't we? The top 6 and the bottom 6, and I suppose Wakefield on their odd day kind of can float and make it a top 7, but there's certainly a 2-tier element to this season. I feel,
and a lack of intensity when you get. Yeah, like the Saints and Catalan game as well, you get that lack of intensity in a game, and it just makes for a poor spectacle.
Wigan could have scored 60, 70, 80 points in this game, and Salford should be credited with the goal line defence that didn't happen, because Wigan didn't make a lot of errors. They did bomb 2 tries in the first 15 minutes or so that were their errors, but other than that, no. And I think that's kind of what David's getting at now. Wigan were professional, they were clinical. Sam Tompkins was brilliant, apart from his goal kicking in the second half wasn't up to much, but there wasn't a lot more to say.
What do you think he means by the comment about Escare's talent is being wasted? Because from what I saw, he looked pretty slick in that, but I'm only seeing the highlight reel.
Yeah, well, Escare isn't getting played 80 minutes every week, obviously. In fact, he's only done 180 minutes all season because he went off in the Saints game with the concussion. He's only done one first team 80 minutes, and that was at Widnes last week when he made some great plays and he made some terrible plays. So but when he's been played in the first team of late, he's been playing at standoff, and when he comes off the bench, and I kind of get what he's saying, because out there is all action trying to make these tackles that he's not it's not his forte doing, but he doesn't let you down in terms of the effort he puts in there. And occasionally you get to see bursts of his pace. Putting him on the right-hand side is a lot better because he can pass left to right better than he can pass right to left. I think he's a lefty with foot and hand. So that's all okay. But the thing is, the thing we have to focus on really isn't that Escare's talent's being wasted, but Sam Tompkins is playing brilliantly at fullback, and I wouldn't want to see Sam Tompkins moved out of fullback for Escare to be put there to maximise Escare's talent when Sam Tompkins is arguably at the moment the best fullback in the competition on form in the last 2 months or so. So I get what he's saying. I just don't quite agree that there's a way to solve it at the moment. Is kind of what I'd say. But in terms of stats. Team stats, Wigan's 1,858 metres was nearly twice as many as Salford made, and it was the most made by any side in a game so far this year. Wigan had a 1.2 metres per carry better average gain and a 3.6% better team tackle success. They made 7 breaks and only allowed 1. They only made 6 errors, although did lose the penalty count to Salford 8-9. And there was those 7 goal line dropouts forced. Individually, Tom Davies was back from injury in this one. 5 tackles and 209 metres from him. Liam Marshall on the other side had a try assist and 159 metres. Dan Sargentson 152 metres. The much maligned Dan Sargentson had another good game in a Wigan shirt. Oliver Gildart with a try, 5 tackles and 149 metres. So quality across that 3-quarter line for Wigan. There was tons of other players who had good stats in this game, and tons of other players actually whose stats could have been a lot better if just those 1 or 2 early plays had come off, because I thought Willie Isa was very good in the game, John Bateman was very good in the game, George Williams was pretty decent too.
He's turned into quite the unsung hero, isn't he, Willie Isa, a little bit at the minute?
Oh, definitely is that. He's our version of what you might have had in years gone by with people like Willie Poachin, who never did out, but never didn't do out, if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean,
for Salford, Daryl Alfertz had 180 metres. That's because basically he was their only player who consistently got their hands on the ball from kicks. Logan Tompkins, 51 tackles, worked hard, picked up a bit of a knock in the second half, but it should be alright for the cup game on Friday. Chris Wellham, 102 metres.
That's it, the Ginger Pearl strikes 2 weeks in a row.
No, he's still injured, but hopefully he'll be back for the cup game next week. Oh, we're talking about a different player, okay.
You didn't even mention the Golden Edge there once, which is awesome.
The Golden Edge has been interrupted a little bit, but it'll be back in full flow soon. Hull FC on Saturday hosted Castleford Tigers. It finished 36-12 to the Black and Whites. It was 20 points to 6 at half time. 14,623, a creditable crowd on the family fun day for Hull FC. Gareth Hewitt was the referee. We have a few fan reviews. Do you want to start with the first of those?
Certainly do. Yeah. So we have got Joshua McKenzie, our little hero. Hull performed really well, and I think they did, Josh, and good on you.
Yeah, Fatboy Rob said, despite the score, Castleford played really well, especially in the second half. Had it not been for a few correctly given forward passes and a try given and a disallowed try, I have the benefit of seeing the replays, Cass could actually have won this one. Alas, FC took their chances and got the deserved win. Overall, a fun-filled day in the sun with a few jars in the pub from Shameless and watching Joshua's man of the match performance. Yeah, that was in the the junior festival that they had in the afternoon. We've got a little bit more on that later on, actually.
Good stuff. So Scoot's got in touch as well to hold up her end, and she says, cast through everything at us for the first 10 minutes and looked very dangerous. Our defence held out, and from there on, our attack kicked in. A nasty injury to Snide marred a great match. Hewer blew his whistle sparingly, allowing the game to flow well, and Super League's perennial chokers lost again.
that wasn't part of Sarah's, but champions, chokers. It begins with the same 2 letters. It's easy to get confused, isn't it? Just to touch on the Snade injury, looks like a bad knee injury just at the start of the second half. So
the same medial, not cruciate,
going down. Yeah, they are. Yeah, another.
Hopefully a bit. Cruciate tends to be the longer of the 2. So when you wear medial, it tends to be months opposed to a year. So, post a year. But we'll just have to see, I suppose, when it comes out in the wash. There's not been a prognosis yet, has there?
No. There'll be a scan, won't there, at some point in the next couple of days, and then we'll hear more about it by next week's show. But looks like a shame that another potential England halfback as well has picked up an injury. Okay, Joshua's granddad, to finish off the Scoot Scotter clan, says the sun shone. Albert announced for another 2 years. No video ref, so the game flowed. Hull's right edge too powerful for Cass. Yet another halfback injury, but up stepped Jake and had a man of the match performance. Sad to see Powell defend Ellis's dive. Went down like Fat Boy had shot him.
Interesting. So, is this Ackersteel 69? Hull are. Is it AK Steel? Steel, it's like Tim Gradio. I've gone down that road too much. AK Steel, 69. Hull are a bit John Rambo at the moment. Poke them with a stick and they make someone pay. Last week's stick was the Dragons, and this week the Tigers paid. Not long ago, a centre in Hull was a rare as a teenage girl without a sprog. I don't even know what that means. But now we have
to have a centre in Hull was as rare as seeing a teenage girl in Hull that didn't have a child.
All right, yeah, okay, yeah. I've been over these shores too long. A sprog. Oh yeah, I forgot that's a slang for a kid. Yeah, but now we have 3, and they're all first choice. Jake the Snake was class again, but the big difference was Tag's second spell. He destroyed the perennial chokers pack single-handedly. I smell the cup. Indeed.
Yeah, the cup is on the horizon for Hull FC.
Never write off Hull in the cup. That's what I'd say.
And they've got a championship side to play against, haven't they? Who are coming back from France.
They've got Fev at home though, so it's obviously I think the win. It's not going to be easy though. But we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later on.
Did I say I meant away? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think from basically looking at the highlights, I can't understand where this whole narrative about Castleford were in the game and stuff came from. So obviously what actually played out, because even in the match reviews I've seen, without this passion of fans seem to suggest the same things, that Castleford played pretty well. They just didn't actually pull off any plays to the conclusion enough. Whereas Feremo and Griffin down the right hand side really did batter them, and every loose ball they got to, and they set one or the other of each other up to score some tries, and both had a good game. Josh Griffin, I think the most impressive thing about Josh Griffin for me is it doesn't matter what side of the pitch you put him in the centre, and that's a rare thing, because you see a lot of the other centres that we've got on our shores, and most of them are one side or the other, and they don't look as good on the other side. But Josh Griffin's managing to pull off great games on both sides of the pitch so far this season, which is really helpful for them, because they are having to move him around with all these injuries in the halves that they're having to. Jake Connor in and out, doing the okey pokey on the half-back and centre position. But Connor and Griffin have been really outstanding for Hull this year, and the reason why they're still in touch with that top four, which they sneak back into because of this big win.
I think Griffin reminds me of the sort of NRL centres, those big, just power centres.
Is the sort of comparison I'd say that I see.
At the minute, I'd say sort of Ewan Aitken, which is a massive rap on Josh Griffin. Aitken at St George is going to be the next big thing in Origin, and Aitken's a guy who skipped round Inglis and just burned him on the outside the other week, but just powerful.
International quick Ewan Aitken.
Oh, there you go, yeah, because powerful. I'd forgotten about that, yeah. So just powerful.
I think he has as well.
Yeah. Oh, he's trying to.
Yeah.
but I think Griffin just impresses, doesn't he? He doesn't look out of touch with anybody he's playing against. He's got enough pace to get himself away from a defender, and he looks really, really physical and strong. He's looked definitely a standout player in the comp this year, and a lot to do for Cass, I suppose. Not to bash him. I'm only bashing them in jest, and I've got a lot of raps on Cass and what they've done, but they just seem they've come up against some. I know Leeds. I don't want to be an hypocrite. Leeds have lost by a few points. Yeah.
Look at the back line for Cass in this game, though. Jake Truman, who's growing into the role as the fullback, but it's new to him. Greg Minikin, he's the first choice right winger, but Alex Foster and Joe Wardle were the centres, and Michael Shenton played on the left wing, and then it was Ellis and McShane in the halves.
Truman during the game as well, and I think Shenton ended up at fullback. So they're doing it tough, and they're going to have to do it tough, and everyone goes through this.